Hi everyone, so I will say up front this is going to be quite a chatty intro to this video, so I will put a little annotation right here for the time you'll want to skip to if you just want to see me talk about all of the books. If this video looks a bit different, I am doing a little trial run and filming on my iPhone. I have an iPhone 5C if anyone is curious, and tomorrow I leave for Spain. I'm equally excited and terrified. That's a lie. I'm kind of like 99% terrified right now, but I'm hoping, I emphasize hoping, to be vlogging quite a bit. That will obviously all be on my iPhone, so I want to practice filming on this, seeing what the quality's like, and uploading it to my computer, everything like that. So if you think the quality actually looks about the same or better, I'll just film all my videos on this, and maybe that will actually, no, that would definitely be a lot simpler, so hopefully that's the case. I asked on Twitter and pretty much everybody said they want to see the vlogs on the same channel as my book channel, and that makes it simpler for me, so I'm totally fine with doing that. So hopefully in a few days you'll see my first Spain video. I think I'm going to call them Spain Diaries, but I'm not sure if anybody else can think of a quick little title for them that they think is better than that, then feel free. So make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all of those types of things. I don't generally update there a ton, but I'm sure I'm gonna be freaking out and doing a lot more updating, and I definitely love to hear you guys, because the more contact I have with people, the better, because I'm sure for the first week or so I'm going to be fairly lonely. I'm pretty introverted, so I'm fine being on my own, so I guess I should say more so I'm just going to be on my own more versus lonely, but yeah. But if any of you guys do have advice, suggestions, just anything like that about moving, it doesn't even have to be moving abroad, but just moving away from your family and friends and starting something fresh and scary, then please comment below. I'm definitely going to be reading every single comment up to the point when I fly off. I'm sure it'll just make me feel a bit better, and I just love to hear anything at all from you guys. So now we will finally get into my early September wrap-up. I'm obviously doing it now because I'm not taking a single book to Spain. My suitcase is packed. I'm just taking one big one and then one small carry-on in a backpack. Actually, that's a lie. I am taking Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, only because it's my favorite book of all time, and I always say that, but I barely remember it, so I really want to reread that. The first two books I read were graphic novels. I read Saga Volume 1 and Saga Volume 2. I have Volume 3, and I'm sure I'll read that at some point today. This is a sci-fi fantasy series that's extremely popular, and after reading them, I can definitely understand why. The two protagonists are different races that despise each other. They're from different planets, and at the time of the series, they're at war, and when the books take off, the female is giving birth, so now they have this child on top of everything else. I gave these 5 out of 5 stars, and I heard they're coming out with more. It was originally a trilogy, but I'm so excited. The next book I read was Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosnay. This is a World War II book told from two different perspectives, one being a 10 to 12-year-old girl named Sarah. She's Parisian and Jewish. Her and her mother and father are rounded up, not by the Nazis, but by the French police, who played a big role, and I think one big aspect of this book is helping people to realize that, because I certainly didn't know that. Something goes awry with her trying to protect her brother. This isn't a spoiler, it's on the back of the book. And for the rest of her point of view, she's trying to get back to him and see if he's alright. It also takes place in the present, an American woman who is currently researching the Veldiv, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, which is when all the Jewish people were rounded up. Extremely depressing. This might top The Fault in Our Stars for book that depressed me the most, but it was wonderful. I do have to say though, I was not the biggest fan of the woman's point of view. I kind of felt like a lot of the French people on her husband's side of the family, including her husband, were very stereotypical and one-dimensional, and a lot of her plot was really predictable, so I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. I think when I finished it, I gave it 5, and then I was like, wait, you really didn't like a good half of the book, so I'd probably give it 3.75, maybe out of 5. Next, I read Horns by Joe Hill. So excited for the movie to come out in a month, hopefully. I doubt it's coming out when it's coming out in the States and Spain. This story is about Ig Parrish. He is about 24, 25 years old. It takes place after his girlfriend has been raped and murdered. There was no evidence to say he did it, so he did not go to jail, but everybody in his town kind of thinks that he did. If you do watch the trailer, and I said this in the video when I was talking about this book, I think it kind of gives away, if you really look at the characters, I think it kind of gives away who did kill Ig's girlfriend. But someone commented below, and they are very right. You find out pretty early on in the book who killed Marion Williams, and the rest of the book is kind of figuring out why this character did kill her. But one day, after getting drunk and pissing on the statue of the Virgin Mary, Ig wakes up with horns on his head, and whenever he's around people, they tell him their deepest, most disgusting desires, and it's a disgusting, fun, wonderfully written book, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely check it out. Then this morning, I actually finished Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. A subscriber made the point to say this is not a horror novel by any means. And I definitely agree. The book, at least from my point of view, was not whatsoever creepy, but I don't think it's really meant to be. It tells the quite depressing story of a young boy whose mother is dying of cancer, and one day a giant tree man monster comes to his window and starts to tell him stories. The boy's also dealing with being bullied in school. I have to admit, as beautiful as the story was, I enjoyed the artwork actually much more than the story itself, and I definitely want to look into the artist and check out some of their other work. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a little bit predictable, but at the same time an extremely beautiful book, and I would really recommend it. The book I am currently reading is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. So I'm about 90 pages into this, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm obviously not going to finish that before I leave, but luckily my brother has a Kindle Fire. I can't remember if I already talked about this in a video, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I told you guys I really needed to get an e-reader because I did not want to unnecessarily weigh my suitcase down with books. I was gonna get a Kindle Paperwhite because that's what everybody recommended, but then my brother said, look, I have a Kindle Fire, I really never use it, so you can just go ahead and have it for while you're abroad. So very nice, brother. And I have to say, I can definitely understand why people prefer the Paperwhite because the glare does get a bit old. But I just have a few books on here. I have The Magicians, I have a random little Secret Europe Lonely Planet book, and then I have Spanish Among Amigos, so when I'm flying over I can brush up on my Spanish because God knows I need to. And I do love that you can just go ahead and rent books through your library onto the Kindle, so I'm not spending any money whatsoever. Hopefully I can finish The Magicians during all my travels on the way there. I take 2 flights and then 2 buses to finally get to the city where I'm going to be, but I'm going to sign off, and this is going to be the last time you see this background for a while. Actually, that's a lie. I pre-recorded one video, so you'll see that pop up. But I am going to say goodbye to you guys, and the next time you see me, I will probably actually also be in this bedroom, because that's probably where the vlog would start, so never mind. So let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them, and again, if you have any advice whatsoever, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!